Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey. It's Wednesday night, so I have a Facebook Live with you tonight. So tonight we're going to do one of our classes, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll give some people time to log on and time for me to get my screen up. So I see some people are already popping on, and I appreciate that. Thank you for joining me tonight. So it's Wednesday. It's National Ice Cream Day and National Hot Dog Day. And it's my husband's birthday. So we went out for hot dogs and ice cream all in one day. So that was pretty exciting. So it's kind of nice to just have a day where Weight Watchers was kind of put to the side, but we don't do that very often, so that's okay. So we're going to do 3 cards tonight, and one easy, one a little stepped up, and one a little more stepped up. And so this is more like a class, so it's using the same stamp set. So what I'm going to offer for you is, if you shop with me in the next 7 days, then I will send you the kits to make these cards. The only thing you will have to supply would be a stamp, which any flower stamp would work, and some sentiments, and any sentiments will work. You'll be able to make the cards with the stamps that you already own. If you own this one, that's even better. So $35, I'll send you the card kits, and if you spend $50, I will add a pack of basic pearls. I don't have a whole pack to show you, though. I obviously need some for myself. So let's get started. Flowers of Friendship is in the annual catalog, and it's been around for a while. It wasn't one that I was wild about at first, but it has a punch. And anytime there's a punch, I'm pretty much going to buy that set, because punches are so easy to use, and you can use them in so many different ways and do lots of things with them. So that's why we're going to use this one. And it does have some great sentiments. Life is better with friends like you. Many thanks. Low card, big thanks. So perfect for those friends in your life. So let's put that to the side. This is the easier, I think, card, simpler card. We're just going to layer some DSP, do some stamping, put it all together. So we're going to use this larger image with these little blossoms and do some coloring. You could do watercolors, you could do blends, you could do watercolor pencils, markers, chalk, whatever you like for your coloring. We'll go ahead and stamp the sentiment while we have ink out. And this is a scrap piece of paper. The sentiment I'm going to use is little card, big thanks. Both of these has a spot on it, so we'll flip that over. It looks like makeup. So we'll put that to the side, and we can die cut it in a minute. And I've got some blends to use here. I picked Pool Party and Pool Party. I don't know why I have not macaron. So light Pool Party, dark Pool Party, because our card base is Pool Party. So we want to focus on that color. So we'll start with the light. I've been using my blends a lot lately and realized I needed to replace some. They do get used up, and the tips kind of get frayed if you use them a lot. but they're fairly inexpensive, so it's okay. So we'll color them first with the light, and then we'll do some shading with the darker. So today's a good day for staying in because it's been super hot and I'm about tired of heat. Hopefully it'll go away pretty quick. So we're just going to drag some of this color up from where the flower meets, and it gives it a little depth. That's why I was thinking watercolor would be real pretty with this set, because it's a nice, fairly large area for a little flower. And actually we need a little flower to go with this and this one, so we'll go ahead and stamp it and color it. And that won't take too long to do. And then we'll do our leaves. We don't have to worry about being neat here because we'll go around the outside edges with the darker color. So we can kind of go outside the lines to give it a little shading there. So if you're here, let me see, leave me a comment. Let's see, I see Jamie. Hi Jamie, thanks for coming. And Leanne, thanks for joining us tonight. So we'll pop this around, make it darker around the outside edges. You could go over these flowers with Wink of Stella if you wanted some shine. I think I'm probably just going to leave mine simple this time. It's hard to believe I wouldn't be using Wink of Stella, but it happens sometimes. So we're going to use some Granny Apple Green for our leaves. And we'll do the same with that. We'll use the light color and then fill in with the dark. So those little pointy parts, we need to use the fine tip there to get in there. And then we'll add a little highlights with the darker green. You know, you shouldn't be afraid to try the blends because they're not bad. It took me a while to get used to using them. And we'll punch this one. The cool thing about this punch is you don't really have to worry about how you've stamped your flower. It's gonna, you don't have to worry about lining it up quite so much. It will fit in there no matter what. Do need to trim these edges. And I guess what I mean is each petal is exactly the same, so however you stamp it, it'll line up. It does create a bunch of leftover pieces that go flying around because of you're not using all the images. That's all right. Now we're ready to put this one together. This is the host paper from the, I think it's host paper, is it? But it's the large paper pack in the annual catalog called Dreaming. Let me see what it's called. Oh, mercy. Design a Daydream. You get 48 pieces of paper, so it's a real bargain. You might get even more than 48, but I think you get 48. And it's got some nice patterns that are subtle, goes with lots of different projects. We'll just layer all these pieces. And I thought this Pool Party and Blushing Bride kind of went together nicely. And we'll smooth that out. Now we've got this Pool Party sheer ribbon. We're just going to tie that around this part, just with a little faux knot. Nothing fancy, not a bow. And let's see if we can get that in there. Tie that out. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes I need a little glue dot to hold it down. And sometimes it works fine. Now we're going to put this on with some dimensionals. You could see my desk. I can hardly find the dimensionals, but they're here. Let's see if we can straighten that. There we go. Could have gotten one of those adhesive sheets, my goodness. But I tend to forget those. We're going to put this to the side. I always leave a little more, usually it's a good idea to leave more room at the bottom than at the top. That's kind of a artsy technique. And then we're going to cut this with a die. Any shape die that you own would work here. That matches your sentiment. We'll put this through the cut and emboss machine. And we'll put this on with dimensionals just on this side. And then we'll put Tombow on the other side to keep it level. I think sometimes we don't always think about these things. And it's a good reminder. Because you don't want one side taller than the other. And now we can put our little flower on here. We can give it a little fluff. We'll put that on with some Tombow. I don't want to cover up our words. And we'll put some pearls on here. This little flower can get a little pearl. And then use a larger pearls. I think we have so many pretty bling packages, we forget about the basic pearls and basic rhinestones. So that's a nice simple little card there. Just uses some plain, basic elements that most of us already own. Now we need something for the inside. Just have a piece of basic white, a little scrap here of the same DSP. I think I'll stamp another flower and punch it out and put it in there also. But we'll do that. You can imagine that on this card. So it's a little bit trimmed there. Alright, that's our first card. Put some of these things out of the way so we don't get ink all over them. Don't want to ruin our cards before we even get to mail them. Our next card's just stepped up just a tiny bit. We're going to use some of the In Color DSP. So saffron, just a regular card base. I'm going to run this through the cut and emboss machine with the gingham folder because I want it to have a little texture. Nothing too fancy, but just a little. Any stripes, checks, polka dots, any of those that give just a subtle texture is what we need. And I thought gingham was kind of trendy. So. It's funny how different things become trendy. Sometimes country and sometimes not. And we're going to put just a banner across the bottom. Not that one. That's too big. This is 2 inches. This is 2 1/4 by 4. Just to give it a little edge there. I love the new In Colors. I used them so much when they first came out, I've kind of had to take a break. But then I thought for these little flowers, it'd be a happy little color. This one you could really do with just about any of the colors. You could do the red, Sweet Sorbet, the Orchid Oasis, any of those. Now we can go ahead and put this on our card base while we've got it going here. And then we'll do our stamping. I love blue and yellow. I've always wanted a blue and yellow bedroom. So I kind of got one for our guest bedroom. It's navy and yellow, so I guess that works. But I've always loved light blue and yellow. I think that's a nice color combination. And navy blue and yellow, certainly. Now, this is 2.5 by 4, and we're going to stamp the same little flower on here that we used before. I find when it's these big blocks, it's easier for me to ink this way. Then I can see what's happening, and I don't drop the block. I have been known to drop that. Now this time, instead of coloring, we're going to paper piece. So we're going to ink this up again, but just the flowers. And we're going to stamp on this polka dotted side of some in color paper. Good. I was afraid I had maybe cut that a little too small, narrow. And now we'll just fussy cut these. This would be something you could stamp these, and then while you're watching TV, do all the cutting, and then put it together at night. I just can't do too much. If I've had a busy day, I'm not trustworthy to stamp at night. That's when I make mistakes. But I think I could fussy cut. I like to keep busy. So don't forget, this is celebration time. So for every $50 you spend, you can pick a free celebration item. And there's so many cute things. Those hippos are probably my favorites. But I love the Tree Farm dies. Because they're not just for Christmas, they're for lots of different occasions. So I think those are worth getting. So now we're going to make our flowers be blue polka dots. And kind of have to pay attention. One of these is a little bit larger than the other. So make sure you put it in the correct space. I wish flowers did grow with polka dots or plaids. You could have a plaid flower, couldn't you? I bet you could. And now we'll color our leaves again. This is a pretty quick card here. Also, all three of these are fairly quick. I love Granny Ethel green. I really should get out the parakeet party green, but sometimes it's a little bright. I hope they don't do any color revamping anytime soon, but I bet maybe next year we might have to have a few colors changed around. There we go. We need our sentiment here, and this one's going to be a paper hug. Sending you a paper hug. I think that's a fun little sentiment. Because that's what a card is. It's a hug for somebody. Oh, guess I'll have a white piece I can use for something else. I should have paid attention, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and cut out a black. Actually, we can cut it out of this because nobody will know that we've used. Oh, no, we can't. Look at that. Because I didn't pay attention. But we'll have that. I will cut a new one of these. So that's 2.5 by 4. So let me cut a new one. Wasn't thinking about that. Wasn't thinking about that it was going to catch that edge. We all do goofy stuff, don't we? Now we're just going to layer that so that it's offset. Using black with your colors really makes your card pop. It's a fun little sweet surprise. No dimensionals on this card. So we'll let the white be the straighter part and the black be the wiggledy part. We'll layer these. Now, if you like the edges if you can't stand wonkiness, you can always just use it as a frame. We'll put this on. Since we didn't use any dimensionals, we can just put that right there. And then we're going to put a little shiny bow. I'm going to use the Parakeet Party in color. Glimmer. Isn't that pretty? Look how shiny it is. You can stretch this and make it be fluffier if you want. So that's a fun way to use this ribbon. We're going to double it and make a double bow. Let's talk about celebration again. This is also a great time to join to be a hobby demonstrator or a business demonstrator. You get $125 in product for $99, and you get, during celebration, you get a planner. So if you're a planner person that likes to keep a written calendar, keep up with your goals and your activities. I've also, it's funny, I've seen some people use the things from the calendar to make cards because the calendar has some fun, kind of like index cards with designs and stuff on them to dress up your planner. So I think that's funny. People always are so creative. So anyway, the joining special is always the best idea if you have a large order. And usually Stampin' Up! Will give you some sweet little incentives. And most, I would say 90% of demonstrators are hobby demonstrators, so you won't be alone. So there's our second card. That's cute. I didn't put any pearls on this one, but I certainly could. Now our next one is something a little different. We're going, let me clean these punches up so that I don't have quite so much going on here. And we're going to, this is some polka dotted paper. This is free in Celebration. So it comes in gold and silver, dots, stripes, something else, I'm not real sure. So for if you spend $50, you get this pack of paper. So I thought, well, we always like shiny, so we're going to use that for our card base. We're going to layer that on Sweet Sorbet. Got to have a pop there. And we'll just go ahead and put that on our card. See, one last thing I have to keep up with here because I don't want to make a mess. And then we can put this to the side while we work on the other elements. Now, look, we're going to use the In Color Glimmer paper. I kind of was thinking this afternoon about how I could do something a little different. And then I thought, well, I wonder if you can stamp on this. Because, you know, it's not like our old glitter paper that would always shed it on you and you had glitter everywhere. Where this does not come off. So I figured it must have enough of a finish that we could stamp on it. And guess what? We can. So we're going to try that. So we're going to stamp these little flowers. We're going to give them a little more time to dry. We use the Memento. You'll want to use either Memento or Stays On so it won't smear. I think a water base would probably smear. Isn't that interesting that you can do that? So we'll do, since this is ombre, I'm going to do this darker down here. So we'll have one bright light one and one dark one. We use the smaller. We're going to do some blue. Oops, that one's not very good. And well, I'm going to go ahead and stamp one more just in case, because I can make another card. And then we'll stamp the green leaves. The leaves are a little trickier because you do have to get them in that punch, and I'm not very good at figuring out how to get them in the punch without wasting paper. So let's see, I think this way, this one here, we'll just do some and then some of the smaller ones. Not sure how many leaves we need, but we'll have them. Now we can just punch these out. I love paper piecing, Jamie. It's really a fun with our rustic harvest, don't you think we could do a paper piecing on that pumpkin? I bet we could. I liked it. You remember the dance? Ugh, messed that one up. The dancing lady. I loved paper piecing her clothes. That was fun. And the one with the girl and the packages on her dress. That was a fun one. There's always kind of fun things to paper piece. Look at all this trash, though. I have to figure out which are leaves and which are trash. Ugh. Let's trim that off. It's just snagging. That'll be our last one. And hope that's enough leaves. If not, we know where to get some more. We can just stamp some more. So let's line our leaves up here. That one's no good, so get rid of that one. And let's see, here's another. No, that's the bad one. There's one. They're upside down. Okay, we'll get rid of all these. I found some on the floor earlier. They go flying like crazy. Now we'll cut. Not that one. It didn't come out very good. I love blue flowers. To trim that down to get in there. And we might save that for another one just in case. We don't need a blue leaf. Where my scissors are. Do need to keep these. You have to trim the corners so you can get it in the punch easier. Oops. There's another. Look at that. I forgot. Well, that's all right. We'll just do another one. We'll just stamp some more. We'll start with what we have and see what we can do. So here's our little blue flowers. We need our red flowers. This will be really a sparkly card. But sometimes we all need glitter and happiness in our life. Okay, now one other thing we're going to do. Like I said, this one's a little more involved. Not too much, but just a little. Clean up this mess. We're going to make a wreath with these flowers on our card front, but I wanted it to have an anchor. So I'm going to take two of the stylish shaped circles, and we're going to create a frame. So we're going to cut them out both at the same time. Then you'll have a nice circle to use on another card, because you won't be using the center part. You'll just be using the frame, because this is going to make a frame. And we'll run this through. You can do this with any of the layering circles. You just pick the sizes that you want for your frame. You could even have a wider frame or a narrow frame. So we'll save that for another project. And now we've got a nice little stitched frame that we can use. Isn't that cute? So we're going to put that kind of over to the side. We'll go ahead and glue that down. The flowers will kind of help it stay down also, because we're going to glue those flowers on here. All right, so let's see what we can do with the flowers that we cut. So we'll kind of fluff them up a little bit. I know if they go through the mail, they'll get a little flatter, but I think that they'll still hold some fluffy shape, and if you hand deliver it, then of course it'll be fine. So we're just going to make our little frame. So we've got a mix of large and small flowers. That came out, these look so cute with this glimmer paper. We'll kind of nestle that one under there. I'm going to hold those down, push them down one more time. And also this one under here. Now we can just put our leaves. I think we're going to need a few more leaves, but I probably will just go ahead and put these on and see what happens. We'll just kind of add them where they need to go, where we think they need to go. Maybe one right there. Yeah, that looks cute. We might be just right here with these leaves. Not too many, not... maybe one right there. Yeah, we are going to need one more. Ooh, look at that. Gross. Too much glue. No, we're going to put that one there. But we're going to put, I have another little pink one here. So we're going to put it down here, but it needs a leaf. I will stamp a leaf later. Like, to finish that off. We'll see. And now we need a sentiment. So we're going to use a piece of the sweet sorbet. And I pulled out just happy birthday or birthday wishes. Yeah. This is from the Sweet Cherry stamp set, but any birthday, it could be birthday. This could be thinking of you. It could be just about anything. Now, I want to be able to use this for another card, so I'm going to stamp up here, and we'll cut it out from the middle. And we're going to die cut it. And then it would be behind this card, so that would be okay, wouldn't it? Nobody will know it's going to be back there. If I had some scraps of sweet sorbet, I would certainly be using those. But I don't have any yet. Do you keep a good place to put a good organization tool for your scraps or paper ticket envelopes, or you can put all your small scraps in there, keep them on your shelf with your color families, and that helps keep you organized. So we're going to put that right there, and I think it deserves some dimensionals. Better get rid of this nasty glue that's all over everything. So we'll put I have glue on my finger here. We'll put that right about there. And now we need to finish this off with a couple pearls for the center of our flowers. You could color those with the yellow blends if you wanted to, if you didn't want it to have pearls. But I think something this fancy deserves some pearls. I haven't done anything this fancy in a long time. It's funny. Alright, I do have a piece here. We can just stamp our little leaf and we'll be good. We can punch that out. And we'll be done. I am just going to snip that. We can put that with our little flower down there, the one that fell off the wreath. Wipe that up. There we go. So there's our third card. All right. So if you want to get these kits in the mail, just make sure you shop with me in the next 7 days. I will make sure you get the products to make these 3 cards. I didn't know here's this one. I couldn't find it. So simpler, little paper piecing, and super glittery. I like them all. Do you see how using the same stamp set, you can still get different looks depending on how you put it together and the products you use. And I like using products that are already on. I don't have to order anything new. I can enjoy getting a new stamp set using the papers that are already on. So that's a pretty good bargain, isn't it? Look, there's a leaf. We could have had another leaf. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, and I will see you soon, Monday, if not sooner. Leave me a message so I know you were here. Bye.